Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's encode the logic. I hope you all are doing good. In this video, we are going to cover these coding questions which are using if-else statement, if-elif-else statement, and nested if statement. These are the famous coding problems which are asked by interviewers during interviews, guys. In this video, at first I will explain you the logic in very simple words, and then we will delve into the coding part. So it might be time taking, but trust me guys, this is the best video for you. So without making any delay, let's quickly jump into the video. In today's video, we are going to write a Python program to check whether a number is an odd number or an even number. So what is the basic rule that we know about an even number or an odd number? We know that a number is said to be an even number if it is divisible by 2. And a number is said to be an odd number if it is not divisible by 2, right? We know the even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 12, and so on and so forth, right? And the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and so on and so forth. Now, we need to write a program to check whether a number is an even number or odd number. Let us say the user will prompt the number 6 and the output should be like 6 is an even number. For suppose if the user will prompt a number 9, then the output should be like the number is an odd number. Okay, let's work on it. Let me take an even number. We know the 16 is an even number, right? Okay, let me divide the 16 with 2. So then 2 8s are 16. And the remainder was 0. The quotient was 8, right? Okay, let me take an odd number this time. I will take 19. And I will divide this 19 with 2. And we know 2 9s are 18. And my remainder was 1, right? Let me take a number 26 and divide this with 2. We know this is an even number. So 2 1s are 2. 2 minus 2, it was 0. And then we need to get down this 6. And 2 3s are 6. And the remainder was 0, right? So the quotient was 13 and the remainder was 0. And an odd number, this time I will take 31. So 2 1s are 2. Here 3 minus 2, it was 1. And I need to down this 1. So 2 5s are 10. So the remainder was 1. The quotient was 15. Okay. We know this is an even number and this is an even number. And these are odd numbers, right? So if you observe one thing, whenever you are dividing an even number with 2, the remainder was 0. In every case, it was 0. But whenever you are dividing an odd number with 2, in every case, you will get 1 as the remainder, right? So, we can say that if the number is an even number, the remainder is 0. And if the number is an odd number, the remainder is 1. You can try taking with remaining numbers also. You will get the same result. For the even number, the remainder must be 0. And for the odd number, the remainder must be 1. Now, with these observations, let's write a code on it. Okay, let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we will prompt the user to enter the number. Later, we will check whether the number is giving the remainder as 0 when we divide the number with 2 or not, right? So, we know how to prompt a user, and now we need to know how to find out the remainder. So, we know we have a built-in operator to find out the remainder, right? So, every programming language has this modulus operator to find out the remainder. Okay. Let me take these numbers 16, 19, 26, and 31. I will do 16 mod 2. Then the output was 0, right? The remainder was 0. And then I will do 19 mod 2. The output was 1. Then I will do 26 mod 2. It was 0. And 31 mod 2. It was 1. And 78 mod 2. It was 0. And 79 mod 2. Of course, it would be 1. With the modulus operator, we can check the remainder easily, right? Okay, let's start writing coding. program to check whether the number is an odd or even number, right? At first, we need to take the input from the user. So the input should be in integer format. That's why we kept int of. And the instruction was enter a number, right? And now we need to use an if clause. If n mod 2, if that is equal to 0, here we have used double equal to. In programming, we will use double equal to for the comparison. For the assignment, we will use single equal to. Okay. If n mod 2 equal to 0, then the output should be the number is an even number, right? Let's print that. The number is an even number, right? Or else print the number is an odd number, right? Okay, let me run this program. Okay, let me enter the number as 67. So 67 is an odd number. Let me run this program again. I will give 98. So 98 is an even number, right? Okay, let me do another modification. Here we are doing n mod 2 equal to 0. We can also keep double equal to 1. If n mod 2, if the remainder was 1, so what should I need to print? I need to print the number is an odd number, right? Or else if the remainder is not equal to 1, then we need to say it is an even number, right? So there is another modification. Let me run this program again. 125. It was an odd number, we know. And run this program again. I will give 500. So 500 is an even number. So this is the program to check whether the number is an odd number or an even number. In today's video, we are going to write a Python program to find numbers divisible by another number or not. What is the divisibility rule? So whenever we divide a number with some other number, if the remainder is 0, then we can say that the number is divisible by that number, that another number, right? Okay, let's see this. If n is divided by 2 and then the remainder was 0, then we can say that n is divisible by 2, right? And if n is divided by 3 and then the remainder was 0, then we can also say that n is also divisible by 3. And if the n is divided by 4 and if the remainder was 0, then n is divisible by 4, right? And so on and so forth. And if n is divided by 5 and then the remainder was 0, then we can say that n is divisible by 5 also. Okay, let me take number 24 and divide this with 2, right? Okay, we know 2 12s are 24 and the remainder was 0, right? And let me again divide this 24 with 3. We know 3 8s are 24 and the remainder was 0, right? Okay, let me take some other number. Let us say it would be 49 and divide this number with 3. So we know 3 ones are 3 and 4 minus 3 it was 1 and it was 19 and 3 6 are 18 and the remainder was 1, right? So from this we can say that the 49 is not divisible by 3, right? Let me take some other number 50 and make it divisible with 3 itself. So 3 ones are 3 and 5 minus 3 it was 2 and I need to down the 0 and 2 6 are 18 and my remainder was 2. Now again the 50 is not divisible by 3. Let me take a number 64 and divide with 8. We know 8 8s are 64 and the remainder was 0, right? So what is your observations? whenever we're dividing a number with some other number, if it is divisible by that number, then we are getting a remainder as 0. In this case, it was 0 because 24 is divisible by 2 and 24 is also divisible by 3. That's why we got the remainder as 0. And here 49 is not divisible by 3. That's why it has given me 1. And 50 is not divisible by 3. It has given me 2. And 64 is divisible by 8. That's why it has given me 0. So, program to find numbers divisible by another number, right? What could be the input? Every time the dividend is changing and also the divisor is also changing. So here the dividend was 24 and the divisor was 2, and here it was 24 and here the divisor was 3, and here the dividend was 49 and the divisor was 3. So every time they keep on changing. So we need two inputs. They are dividend and divisor, right? So these are the inputs. Let us consider the dividend with num variable, num equal to int of, it should be in integer, right? Input of, prompt the user to enter the dividend, right? And then divisor, let us take the variable as div equal to int of input of, enter the divisor, right? Now we need to write the code to find out the remainder when we divide a number with the divisor, right? We know to find out the remainder, we use this modulus operator, right? Okay, let me do 24 mod 2. And we got the remainder that was 0. And 24 mod 3, that was 0. And 49 mod 3, it was 1 as we did. So 50 mod 3, of course it should need to give me 2. Yes, it was giving me. And 64 mod 8, it was 0. And 63 mod 8, it was some 7. So do it. If you divide the number 63 with 8, then you will get the remainder 7. In this way, we can find out the remainder, right? So we will use an if class. If the num mod div is equal to 0. So in programming, we will use double equal to for the comparison and single equal to for the assignment, right? Then we can say that print num is divisible by div, right? Or else we can print the num is not divisible by div, right? Let me give colon here. Okay, let me run this program now. Okay, let me give 24 as the dividend and 8 as the divisor. So yes, 24 is divisible by 8. And let me run this program again. And I will give 50 as dividend and 3 as the divisor. So 50 is not divisible by 3. We know that. Let me run this program again. This time let's take a bigger number, 127, and I will divide this with 3. So 127 is not divisible by 3. Okay, let me run this program again. I will give 540 and also my divisor as 540. Of course, 540 is divisible by 540. So this is the program to find a number is divisible by some other number or not. In this video, we are going to write a program to find maximum and minimum of two numbers. So what is the basic rule to find out the maximum and minimum of two numbers? The maximum rule was, if A and B are two numbers, if A is greater than B, then we can say that A is the larger number and B is the smaller number, right? And the minimum rule was, if A and B are two numbers and if A is less than B, A is the smaller number and B is the larger number. So this is the basic rule that we know. Okay, let me take two numbers, 25 and 42. Okay, the maximum of 25 and 42 was 42, and the minimum of 25 and 42 was 25, right? Okay, let me take another example. This time I will take 150. So the maximum number was 100 and the minimum number was 50, right? Okay, now we need to write the code for finding the maximum and minimum of two numbers. Okay, before moving into it, in Python we have comparison operators. They are greater than, and then the less than, and then the double equal to operator for the comparison, and then greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to, and also not equal to, right? So these are the comparison operators. Now, in our case, we only need this greater than and less than operators. So no need of all these operators. We just only need greater than and less than. So now let's work on the numbers using these operators. So if I do 25 is greater than 42, let's see the result. It has given me a Boolean result that was false. Is 25 is greater than 42? No, it was wrong. That's why it has given me false. And let me do 25 is less than 42. It has given me true. Yes, 25 is less than 42. That's why it has given me the result as true. Okay, let me do 100 is greater than 50. Yes, it was true. And 100 is less than 50. Of course, it would be false. Yeah, it has given me. So in this way, the greater than and less than will works. So it will give the result in Boolean format. Now, let's come to the coding part. So it's a program to find maximum and minimum of two numbers. What we need to take the input? We need to take two inputs. One is A and B, right? Okay, let us take that. A equal to int of. The number should be in integer. So that's why we have used int of. And enter A. Okay. And B equal to int of input of enter B. The input was done. Now we need to think for the logic. We need to print the maximum and minimum, right? So we need to use an if clause. If A is greater than B, then we can say that print A is greater than B. Or else we can print the A is smaller than B. So this is the program. Let me run this program. I will give A as 25 and B as 42. So of course 25 is smaller than 42, right? Okay, let me run this program again. So this time I will give 100 and 50. So 100 is greater than 50. Okay, now let me do a small change in this program. Instead of keeping a greater than symbol, let me keep a less than symbol. And if it is a less than symbol, then we can say A is smaller than B, or else, and it is greater than B. Okay, let me run this program again. Okay, let me give 78 and 49. Yeah, 78 is greater than 49, right? And run this program again. This time I will give 100, 200 as B. So 100 is smaller than 200. In interviews, the interviewer specifically asks you to print only the largest number or either the smallest number. So in that case, you can't write like A is smaller than B or A is greater than B. So you need to modify the code. At first, let's find out the largest of two numbers. Let me remove this. Okay. I will do if A is greater than B. Now I will use a variable and I will store the large number. So if A is greater than B, then what is the largest number? Of course, A is the largest number. So then in the variable large, I will store A. If A is not less than B, then the large will become B, right? So now we can print the largest of A and B, is large. Okay. Let me run this program. 24 and B 48. So the largest of 24 and 48 is 48. In this way, we will find out the largest. The interviewer might ask you to find out the small also. Then you can simply modify the code as if A is less than B, then small equal to A and small equal to B, right? And the smallest of A and B is small, right? Let me run this program now. Okay, I will give 24A and 48B. See, the smallest of 24 and 48 is 24. So the interviewer might ask you to print both the smallest and the largest at a time. Okay, let's do modify within this code itself. If A is less than B, then of course A will be the small and B will be the large, right? We again took another variable large and we store the B. If A is less than B, that condition is failed, then small will be B and large will be A, right? Okay. Let me print the largest. The largest of A and B is large. Okay. Let me run this program again. Okay, now I will give 200 as A and 100 as B. So the largest of 200 and 100 is 200 and the smallest of 200 and 100 is 100. So in this way, we will do write the code. So this is a very, very important coding might ask by the interviewer during interviews. So that's it about today's video, that is program to find maximum minimum of two numbers. In today's video, we are going to write a Python program to check whether a number is a positive number or a negative number or a zero. So what are the basic conditions that we know to make a number as a positive number and a number as a negative and a number as a zero? So the conditions are, if the number is positive, then the number is always greater than zero. And if the number is negative, then the number is always less than zero. And if the number is zero, then the number equal to zero. Okay. The positive numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on so forth. And the negative numbers are -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on so forth. And of course, 0 is 0 only. Now we need to write a code using these conditions. Let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we'll prompt the user to enter the number. Later, we will use an if-elif-else statement, because we use an if-elif-else statement whenever we have more than two conditions. So here we have three conditions. If you observe, here we have three conditions. So that's why we will use an if-elif-else statement. And later we will print the output as per the number. Okay, let's write the code now. Let me give a comment. Program to check whether a number is positive or negative or zero, right? Now we need to take the input from the user. I will consider a variable n and int of input of, it should be integer format, enter a number, right? Okay, now we need to use if-elif-else statement. The first condition is, if the number is positive, means n is greater than 0. If n is greater than 0, then we can print n is a positive number, right? Elif, the second condition is number is negative, means the n is less than 0. We can print the n is a negative number. And the third condition is if n is 0, means we can use an else statement, right? We can simply print that n is 0. Okay, now let me run this program. Let me give 890. So 890 is a positive number. And again, let me run this program. So this time I will give minus 67. So minus 67 is a negative number. And again, one more time. So this was 0. So 0 is 0. So here we have used an else statement. Instead of using an else statement, we can also use an elif. And whenever we use an elif, we need to keep the condition. We will keep n equal to 0. Here we will use double equal to for the comparison in programming. And for the assignment, we will use single equal to. So in this way also we can write the program. Okay, let me run this again. Okay, I will give 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So it is a positive number. Okay, fine. And let me run this program again. This time let me give 0. So 0 is 0. In this case also, it was working good. So this is the program to check whether a number is a positive or a negative or a 0. In this video, we are going to write a Python program on finding the biggest of three numbers. So let us say we have three numbers. They are A, B, C. Now we need to find out the largest of three numbers, all these three numbers. Let us say the largest number among all these three numbers is A. So the large equal to A. We can make this A as the largest number when A is bigger than B and also bigger than C, right? So if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then only we can make the large as A, right? Okay, let us say B is the largest number. When will the B will be the largest? If it is greater than A and also greater than C, then only we can make B as the largest, right? So if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then we can make large equal to B. And similarly, if the largest number is C, then C is greater than A and C is greater than B, right? If this condition is true, then we can make the C as the largest. So now using these conditions, we need to write the code. So let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we will take the input from the user. The input is all the three numbers. So A, B, C. And later we need to use an if-elif-else statement. We use an if-elif-else statement whenever we have more than two conditions. And here we have three conditions, right? So we need to use an if-elif-else statement. And later we need to print the output that was the largest number. Okay, let's write the code. Let me keep a comment first. Biggest of three numbers. Now we need to take the input A equal to int of input of enter A, right? And B equal to int of enter B and C equal to int of input of enter C. And if the first condition is if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. If A is greater than B and also A is greater than C, both these conditions should be satisfied. That's why we have used this AND operator. So we can say large equal to A, right? Elif B is greater than A and also if B is greater than C, then we can make large equal to B, right? If both these conditions are failed, then we can simply say else large equal to C, right? The logic part was completed. Finally, we need to print the output. The biggest of A comma B comma C is large, right? Okay, let me run this program now. So I will enter A equal to 50 and B equal to 80 and C equal to 30. So the biggest of 50, 80, 30 is 80, right? And let me run this program again. So I will enter 25 and then 16 and then 20. The biggest of 25, 16 and 20 is 25, right? In this way, the program will work. And also instead of using an else statement, you can also use an elif statement, and you can keep condition like C is greater than A and C is greater than B. Okay. Let me run this program again. I will give A equal to 30, B equal to 40 and C equal to 50. So the biggest of 30, 40, 50 is 50. So this is the program to find out the biggest of three numbers, guys. In this video, we are going to write a Python program to find out the smallest of three numbers. So let us say we have three numbers, they are A, B, C, and now we need to find out the smallest of three numbers. Let us say we made A as the smallest number amongst all the three numbers, A, B, C. We can make A as the smallest if A is smaller than B and also A is smaller than C, right? Then only we can make A as the smallest, right? So if A is less than B and also A is less than C, then only we can make A as the smallest. Similarly, we can make B as the smallest if it is less than A and also less than C. So if B is less than A and also B is less than C, then we can make small as B. And similarly for the C, if C is less than A and C is less than B, then small equal to C. Now, using these conditions, we need to write the code. Okay, let's figure out the logic. At first, we will take the input from the user. They are A, B, C, all the three numbers. And later we need to use an if-elif-else statement. We will use an if-elif-else statement whenever we have more than two conditions. And we have more than two conditions now. And later, we will print the output, the smallest of three numbers, right? Okay, let's code it. Let me keep a comment first. Smallest of three numbers, right? So I will take the input from the user. A equal to int of, it should be in integer format, input of, enter A, right? And then B equal to int of input of, enter B, and C equal to int of input of, enter C. So the input part was completed. Now we need to focus on the logic. We need to use an if-elif-else statement. So if the condition one was A less than B and A less than C, right? If A is less than B and A is less than C, right? So we used a logical AND operator because both the conditions should be satisfied. That's why we have used a logical AND operator. And we can say small equal to A, right? Elif B less than A and B less than C, then we can make small equal to B, right? Or else, if all these conditions are failed, then we can simply say small equal to C, right? Finally, we need to print the output. Print of the smallest of A comma B comma C is small. So this is the code. Let me run this code now. So I will enter 2500 and then 7500 and 5000. So the smallest of 2500, 7500 and 5000 was 2500, right? And let me run this program again. I will enter 30 and then 20 and then 50. The smallest of 30, 20, 50 is 20, right? Once more. So I will enter 60 and then 70 and then 10. So the smallest of 60, 70, 10 is 10. Okay. So here we have used an else statement. Instead of using an else statement, we can also keep an elif statement. And the condition was C is less than A and C is less than B. In that case also, we can keep small as C. Okay, now let's run this program. Okay, I will enter 400 and then 300 and then 200. So the smallest of 400, 300, 200 is 200. In this case also, it worked fine. So this is about the program to find out the smallest of three numbers, guys. In this video, we are going to write a Python program to find out the biggest of three numbers using nested if. So to find out the biggest of three numbers using if-elif-else statement, we use this logic, right? If A, B, C are three numbers, if A is greater than B and also A is greater than C, then we can make the largest number as A. And if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then we can make large as B. And if C is greater than A and also C is greater than B, then we can make large as C. This is the logic that we have used in finding the biggest of three numbers using if-elif-else statement. And this is also another logic to find out the biggest of three numbers using nested if. Let us say we have three numbers. They are A, B, C. Okay. Let us say if A is greater than B, then B is smaller, right? If A is greater than B, then B is smaller. Then we can ignore this B because our program motto is to find out the biggest, only the biggest. Our main focus is only on the biggest. So we can ignore this B. Now we need to find out the biggest of these two numbers, A and C. We will check if A is greater than C, then A will be the largest. Or if C is greater than A, then C is the largest, right? Let us say I have A, B, C. Okay. First, suppose if the condition A greater than B fails, then A is smaller, right? So if we check A greater than B and if that condition is failed, then A is smaller. Then we can ignore this A, right? Then we can check which number is larger between B and C, right? We can check if B is greater than C, B is the larger or else C is the larger, right? Okay, let's write the code for it. Let me keep a comment first. Program to find out the biggest of three numbers using nested if, right? Now we need to take the input A equal to int of, it should be in integer format, input of enter A. Then B equal to int of input of enter B and C equal to int of input of enter C, right? Now we need to use an if. So the condition was if A is greater than B. Okay, let's keep that. If A is greater than B, then B is smaller, right? Then we can ignore the B. Now we can check which number is larger between A and C. We get to know that B is smaller, so we'll ignore it. And we will check if A is greater than C. We can say large equal to A. If this condition is also failed, we can say large equal to C, right? Let me keep a comment here. If A is greater than B, then B is smaller, right? If A is greater than C, then C is smaller. Or else, if this condition works, then A is smaller, right? So in this way, this will happen. Or else, if A greater than B condition is failed, then A is smaller, right? Then we can say A is smaller. Now we will check between B and C. If B is greater than C, then we can make large equal to B, or else large equal to C. Now C is smaller. Similarly here, B is smaller. Now we need to finally print the biggest of ABC. The biggest of A comma B comma C comma is large. So this is the code. Now let me run this code. So I will give 30, 20 and 40. So the biggest of 30, 20 to 40 is 40, right? Now let me run this program again. This time I'll give 96, 78 and 24. So the biggest of 96, 78, 24 is 96. Okay. Once more. This time I'll give 45 and then 67 and then 23. The biggest of 45, 67, 23 is 67. So this is the program to find out the biggest of three numbers using nested if, guys. In today's video, we are going to discuss a program to check whether a year is a leap year or not. So, what is a leap year? A leap year is a year that contains an additional day, February 29, making it 366 days long instead of the usual 365 days. So, how do you find out a leap year? A leap year is a year that is exactly divisible by 4 except for century years, means the years which are ending with 00. Some century years are considered leap years if they are divisible by 400. So, the leap years are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on and so forth. A leap year is a year that is exactly divisible by 4. So, this 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24, these all are divisible by 4. So, these are called as leap years. Except for century years. Century years like 100, 200, 300, these are not leap years. Some century years are considered leap years if they are divisible by 400. So 400 is also ending with 00. It is also a century year. But this year 400 is divisible by 400. So this is a leap year. A leap year. And after that 500. 500 is not divisible by 400. So it is not considered as a leap year. And later 600 and later 700 is also not a leap year. 800 is divisible by 4, but it is a century year, but it is divisible by 400. The year which is divisible by 400 is considered as a leap year. Okay, now let's come to this 20th century. In this 20th century, 2000 is considered as a leap year because 2000 is divisible by 400. Later, 2004 is a leap year, 2008 is a leap year, 2012 is a leap year, and so on and so forth. Current 2024 is also a leap year. Now we need to write a program to check whether year is a leap year or not. So what are the conditions to make an year as a leap year? So the first condition was if the year is divisible by 400, then we can say that it is a leap year. Or if the year is divisible by 4 but not divisible by 100, in that case also we can say the year is a leap year. If both these conditions are failed, then we can treat that year as not a leap year. If you observe, the year 400, 800 and 2000, all these are leap years because they are divisible by 400. And also the years 4, 8, 12, 16 and 2004, 2008, 2012, all these are also treated as leap year because they are divisible by 4 but not divisible by 100. So whereas coming to these years, 100, 200, 300 and 500, 600, 700, these years are also divisible by 4. But they are also divisible by 100. That's why they are treated as not leap years. In this way, we will identify an year as a leap year or a normal year. Okay, now let's write the program. Okay, let me keep a comment first. Program to check a leap year. Right? At first, we need to take the input. So what could be the input? The input was the year, right? So year equal to int of input of enter the year. right? The input part was completed. Now we need to focus on the logic. What is our logic? These conditions are our logic, right? Okay, let's write that. At first, we need to use an if clause. If year mod 400 equal to 0. If the year is divisible by 400, then the remainder was 0. If it is 0, then we can print the year is a leap year, right? And also, if the year is divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100, another if condition. So for that, we will use an elif. Elif, the year is divisible by 4, means year mod 4 equal to 0, and also year mod 100 not equal to 0, because this year is not divisible by 100, right? So that's why we have used not equal to symbol. In this case also, we can say that year is a leap year, right? If both these conditions are failed, or else you can say print year is not a leap year, right? Okay, let me run this program. Okay, I will give the year as 400. So it has given me 400 is a leap year. Okay, let me run this program again, and I will give 2000. So 2000 is a leap year. Okay, let me give the year 500. So 500 is not a leap year, right? Let me run this program again. So our current year, that was 2024. Yes, 2024 is a leap year. In this way, we will write a program to check whether a year is a leap year or not. Here we have used if-elif-else statement, right? So instead of using an if-elif-else statement, we can write the same program using if-else also. Okay. If you observe, any one of the condition is satisfied, then we can say that year has a leap year, right? So any one of the condition means technically we will use a logical OR for any one of the condition should be true, right? So let's keep an OR here and copy this condition. Let's see, and paste it here. If you observe, this is our condition 1 and this is our condition 2. If any of the condition is satisfied, then we can say that year has a leap year. So that's why we have used an logical OR. And if you observe, within this condition 2, we used a logical AND because both the conditions should be satisfied. Okay, let me run this program. Okay, I will give 300. So 300 is not a leap year. Okay, let me run this program again. I'll give 2020. So 2020 is a leap year. 2013. So 2013 is not a leap year. So this is another way of writing a program to check whether the year is a leap year or not. In this video, we are going to write a Python program to find the type of triangle. So we know types of triangles, right? We have 3 types of triangles. First one is the equilateral triangle, and the second one is an isosceles triangle, and the third one is a scalene triangle. And also, these triangles have some conditions. Let's see the conditions. If A, B, C are side lengths of a triangle, so it is A, and it is B, and it is C. So these are side lengths of a triangle. If A equal to B equal to C, then the triangle is an equilateral triangle. If all the side lengths are equal, then that is an equilateral triangle, right? For suppose, if A equal to 3, B equal to 3, and C equal to 3, then we can say it is an equilateral triangle. Or else, if A equal to B or B equal to C or C equal to A, then the triangle is an isosceles triangle. If any two side lengths are equal, then we can say that the triangle is an isosceles triangle. Okay, let us say my B was different. It was 5. Here A equal to 3, C equal to 3, B equal to 5. So these both sides are same. A equal to 3, C equal to 3 are same. Then we can say this triangle as an isosceles triangle. Or else, if C equal to 5, then also we can say this triangle is isosceles triangle because B and C are same. Or else, if A not equal to B not equal to C, then the triangle is a scalene triangle. If all the three side lengths are different, they are not same, then we can say that triangle is a scalene triangle. Let us say the C equal to 4. In this case, if you observe, all the three sides are different. So this is a scalene triangle. Now we need to write a code to find out the type of triangle based on the given side lengths. Okay. Let's write the code. Let me keep a comment first. Program to find out type of triangle based on given side lengths. Right? Okay. So what should be the input? We need to take 3 inputs. They are side lengths A, B, C. Right? Okay, let's take that. A equal to int of, it should be in integer format. So I will give enter side length 1. Let me copy this and paste it. Okay, this is B and enter the side length 2, and this is C, enter the side length 3. Okay, now coming to the logic part, we need to use an if-elif-else statement. We use an if-elif-else statement whenever we have more than 2 conditions. So if you observe here, we have 3 conditions. So that's why we will use an if-elif-else statement. Okay, let me keep an if first. So what could be the first condition? If A equal to B equal to C, then the triangle is an equilateral triangle, right? If A equal to B equal to C. If we write the condition like this, then it will become a blender mistake. Let me say why it is a blender mistake. Okay, let me open the ideal shell. Let us say I have A equal to 3, B equal to 3, and C equal to 3. I will do B equal to C or not. Then what could be my output actually? It will give me true, right? Yeah, it has given me. Okay, so we got B equal to C as a Boolean value that was true. If we make A equal to true, does it make any sense? Is 3 equal to true? Does it make any sense? No, right? So that's why we won't write like this. It doesn't make any sense, right? So then what should we need to do? All the sides should be equal, right? A equal to B, and also B equal to C, and also C equal to A. I will use a logical AND operator that end B equal to C and C equal to A. So this is the condition for equilateral triangle. Okay. Now let me print the triangle equilateral triangle. If my second condition was if A equal to B or B equal to C or C equal to A, right? Any two sides are equal. So A equal to B, or I will use an or because any two sides, or either B equal to C or either C equal to A. In that case, I will print the triangle is a isosceles triangle. We can use an else statement and we can print it as a scalene triangle. Okay, let me run this program now. So I will enter the side 1, that was 5, side 2, 5, side 3, 5. So the triangle is an equilateral triangle. Okay. And let me run this program again. I will give 5, 6, and 7. So the triangle is a scalene triangle, right? Okay. Once more, I will give 9, 9, and 10. So if you see, the triangle is an isosceles triangle. Here the side length 1 and the side length 2 are same. So that's why we got an isosceles triangle as the output. Let me do a little bit of modification in this code also. So here we have used an else statement. So instead of keeping an else statement, we can also keep an elif statement, and we can write the condition itself. So the condition was a not equal to b not equal to c, right? So we can keep that a not equal to b and b not equal to c and c not equal to a. Okay, let me run this program again. I'll enter the side length as 10, 9, and then 8. So the triangle is a scalene triangle. So we can also write like this. So what is our first condition? That was a equal to b and b equal to c and c equal to a, right? Okay. So if a equal to b and also b equal to c and c equal to a. So if you observe, if a equal to b and also b equal to c, then automatically a equal to c, right? Let us say my a is 3 and b is 3 and c is 3. So if we do 3 equal to 3, then it was true. And here also 3 equal to 3. This is also true. If both these conditions are satisfied, then automatically c equal to a, right? See, it was a simple logic. If a equal to b and b equal to c, then automatically a will be equal to c, right? So there is no need to check this condition. If both these conditions are satisfied, we can say the triangle is a equilateral triangle. Let me run this program again. So this time I will give side length as 2, 2, and 2. So the triangle is an equilateral triangle, right? In this way, the code will work. So this is the program to find out the type of triangle based on the given side lengths. In today's video, we are going to write a program that is time-based greeting program. So what is this time-based greeting program? So in our daily life, whenever we meet a person, we will greet them by good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night, right? So we will greet a good morning to the person if it is from morning 5 a.m. to the 12 p.m. before the 12 p.m., right? So based on the timings, we will greet the person. In this video, we are going to write a greeting program, a time-based greeting program. Okay, let's see the conditions for greeting the person. The time ranges for each period in 24-hour format are defined as follows. We will greet good morning if the time is between morning 5 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. And we will greet good afternoon if the time is between 12 p.m. to 4:59 p.m. right? And we will greet evening if the time is between evening 5 p.m. to 7:59 p.m. right? And we will greet good night if it is from 8 p.m. to 4:59 a.m. Now we need to write a code for this. Let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we will prompt the user to enter the time in 24-hour format. Later, we will use an if-elif-else statement. We use if-elif-else statement if we have more than 2 conditions. And if you observe here, we have 4 conditions. So that's why we'll use if-elif-else statement. And the condition for morning was, it will start from 5, sharp 5. So that's why we'll use 5 less than or equal to time, right? And the time should be less than 12. It was not sharp 12. It was less than 12. That was 11:59 a.m., right? So that's why we have used here less than, and it is sharp 5. That's why we have used less than or equal to. So this is the condition for morning. Now, the condition for afternoon was it will start from the sharp 12. So 12 less than or equal to time, and time is less than 17. So it was not sharp 17, right? 17 in the sense evening 5 p.m. And now the condition for evening was it will start from sharp 5 p.m. nothing but 17 less than or equal to time, and the time will end before 8 p.m. nothing but 20, right? And the condition for night was so it will start from the sharp 8 p.m. nothing but 20 less than or equal to time, and time is less than or equal to 24, and also it will start from 1 also, 1 less than or equal to time, and time is less than 5. So these are the conditions for morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Now we need to write a code for it. Okay, let me keep a comment first. That was time-based greeting program, right? So I will take the input time from the user. Time equal to int of input of. Enter the time, and I will give a disclaimer like the time should be in 24-hour format, right? So then the user will give time between 1 to 24. And now I will use if-elif-else statement. And the first condition was the morning. The morning condition was 5 less than or equal to time and time less than 12, right? So 5 less than or equal to time and time less than 12. So if this condition is satisfied, then we can say print good morning, right? Elif, the second condition, that was afternoon. So the 12 is less than or equal to time and time is less than 17. So 12 is less than or equal to time and time is less than 17, nothing but 5 p.m. So we will print good afternoon. Elif, the evening condition was 17 less than or equal to time and time is less than 20. So 17 less than or equal to time and time is less than 20. Then we can print good evening, right? Good evening. And for the night, this is the condition, right? So instead of keeping this long condition, we can use an else statement, right? If all these conditions are failed, then of course it will be good night, right? So I will print good night. Okay, so this is the code. Let me run this program. I will enter the time as 20. So it was good night because the night will start from 8 p.m. Nothing but 20. Let me run this program again. I will give 9. So it was good morning. And again, so this time I will give 14. It was good afternoon, right? Let me run this program again. So I will give 18. So it was good evening. And we run this program again. It was 3. So it was good night. So this is the time-based greeting program. In this video, we are going to write a Python program on BMI classification. So what is this BMI classification? In our schooling, we already thought of it, right? So BMI means body mass index. And we also know the formula for BMI was BMI equal to weight by height square. So this is the formula for BMI. BMI is an inexpensive and easy screening method for weight category like underweight, healthy weight or normal weight, overweight, and obese, nothing but obesity. So we know the classification of BMI was underweight, normal weight, overweight, and obese. So for this body mass index, we have conditions. If body mass index is less than 18.5, then we can say it is in underweight. If 18.5 is less than or equal to body mass index and less than 25, then we can say it is in normal weight. Nothing but it's a healthy weight. And if 25 is less than or equal to BMI less than 30, then it is considered as overweight. And if BMI is greater than or equal to 30, then it is categorized as obese, nothing but obesity. Now, we need to write a code for it. Okay, let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we need to take the input. So, for the calculation of BMI, so we need two variables. They are weight and height, right? So, we need two inputs. One is weight and another one is height. So, later we will do this calculation. So, and then we will use an if-elif-else statement. So, here we have more than two conditions. That's why we will use an if-elif-else statement. Okay, let's write the code. So, let me keep a comment first. It was BMI classification, right? Weight equal to. So till now we took the variables in integer format. But if you observe, the weight and height will always be in a floating point value, right? So the weight will be like 30.2, 50.2, 50.3, etc., etc., right? And height will be like 5.6, 4.11, and 5.2, like that, right? So for this program, we need to take the input in float. So float of input of enter the weight, right? And also the height equal to float. It is also in the float format. Float of input of enter the height, right? Okay, now the input part was completed. Now we need to calculate the BMI, right? BMI equal to weight by height whole square, right? So we'll use height asterisk asterisk 2. So this is height power 2. Now we will use an if clause, and the first condition was underweight, that was BMI is less than 18.5. If BMI is less than 18.5, then we can say, instead of printing, let me take this in a category variable, category equal to, the person will fall under underweight, right? Okay. elif 18.5 less than or equal to BMI less than 25, right? So 18.5 less than or equal to BMI less than 25. We can't write an expression like this because, let us say, I have a BMI equal to some 20, right? And if I do 18.5 less than or equal to BMI less than 25, right? So if I do compute this first, is 20 less than 25, right? Then my output will be like true, right? Is 18.5 less than or equal to true? Does this make any sense? This is a floating point value and this is a Boolean value. If we do this, it has given me false, of course. It doesn't make any sense, right? So now we will use a logical AND, and we do like this. Okay, let me take this. If I do keep this, now I'll get true. Okay. So now this category was normal weight. Right. elif, and the third condition was overweight, 25 less than or equal to BMI less than 30. elif 25 less than or equal to BMI and the BMI less than 30. Then category will be overweight. And the final condition was an else condition. So we'll give the category is equal to obese. All right. Now we need to print the category and the BMI. So we'll print your BMI is, comma, BMI, and you are classified as category. Okay, let me run this program. I will give the weight as 140 and the height as 5.2. So your BMI is 5.177, so on, and you are classified as underweight. Okay, let me run this program again. So this time I'll give weight as 200 and the height be 1.6. So if you see, your BMI is 78.12 and so on, and you're classified as obese. Okay, let me run this program again. This time I will give my weight as 30 and the height 2. Okay, so your BMI is 7.5 and you're classified as underweight. Okay, let me run this program again. I will give my weight as 30, my height as 1.2. If you see, your BMI is 20.833 and so on, and you're classified as normal weight. So in this way, the BMI classification program will work. In this video, we are going to write a Python program to find grade of a student. So in our schooling, we will give exams and then we will get a grade, right? So how this grade will be assigned to you? What we will do? We will do the average of all the marks in all subjects, and based on that average, they will assign you a grade, right? Let us say I have 6 subjects and I scored S1 marks in subject 1 and S2 marks in subject 2, S3 marks in subject 3, and so on so forth, S6 marks in subject 6. Now I need to do average of all these marks. Average means sum of the observations by number of observations, right? So if you see, in the numerator, we sum all the subjects marks, and in the denominator, we will place number of observations. So we have 6 subjects, so that's why we have kept 6. So the formula was sum of the marks scored in all the subjects by number of subjects. In this way, we'll find out the total score. Now we need to find out the grade. This is how I classified the grade. If total score is greater than or equal to 90, then the student will get A plus grade. If the total score is greater than or equal to 80, then the student will get A grade. If it is greater than or equal to 70, B plus grade greater than or equal to 60, B grade greater than or equal to 50, and C grade greater than or equal to 40, D grade. And if the score is less than 40, and of course, he will be failed, F grade. So in this way, we will assign the grade to the student based on his or her total score. And this classification of grades will be changes from institution to institution. So now we need to write a code for it. So let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we will take the input. So the input was all the subject marks. Let us say we have 6 subjects now. Now we need to take all 6 subjects marks from the user. Later, we need to find out the total score by using this formula. And later, we need to use an if-elif-else statement. Because we use an if-elif-else statement whenever we have more than 2 conditions. We will use an if-elif-else statement and we'll print the grade. So this is what the logic was. So let's write the code. Okay, let's give the command first. Program to find grade of the student. Okay, S1 is equal to, we always take int of, right? But this time we need to take float of, because the marks might be like 92.5, 93.5, 94.5, or 80.5, right? It was in a floating point value. So instead of taking an integer, we need to take a float of. Float of, input of, enter, subject 1, marks. Control C, enter. This is the subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, subject 5, this is the subject 6, and this is subject 3, subject 4, subject 5, and subject 6. So the input part was completed. Now we need to go for the logic part. At first, we need to find out the total score, that was average of marks in all subjects, right? So we will take a variable total underscore score is equal to average. It was S1 plus S2 plus S3 plus S4 plus S5 plus S6 by 6, right? And next, we need to use an if-elif-else statement, right? So if the total score is greater than or equal to 90, then we need to print A plus grade, right? If the total score is greater than or equal to 80, then we need to print A grade, right? So let's copy the same and paste it. So if the total score is greater than or equal to 70, then it was B plus grade. And if the total score is greater than 60, then it was B grade. If it was 50, then it was C grade. If it was 40, then it was D grade. Now, if all these conditions are failed, now we can say it's a failed, or simply we can keep F grade. You are failed. Okay, you can keep pass also. So you can keep pass in every statement. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. So this is the code. Okay, let me run this code. Subject 1 marks, it was 85, and then 92.5, and then 90, and 95, and then 98.5, and then 94. So if you see A plus grade and you're passed, right? Okay, let me run this program again. This time I will give 85, 80, 75, 90, 95, and then 75 again. So A grade, you are passed, right? Okay, let's run this program again. So I will give my marks as 30, 35, 40, and then 60, and then 20, and then 25. So if you see F grade, you're failed. So in this way, the program will work. Okay, I think you might get it out. Okay, let us say if the student score was, total score was 95, then the grade was A plus, right? So we check 95 is greater than or equal to 90, it was true. That's why he got A plus grade. And if you see 95 is also greater than or equal to 80, then in that case, the student might get A grade, right? And also 95 is greater than or equal to 70. For this also, the student might get B plus grade. And for all these remaining conditions also, it was passed. If this is your doubt, this code will be wrong, right? What happens was, in if-elif-else statement, at first the condition 1 will be checked. If that condition is true, then remaining all the conditions are skipped. So what happened? The total score was 95. At first, this condition will be checked. Is 95 is greater than or equal to 90 or not? If that is true, then we can simply say A plus grade, you are pass. And there is no need to check remaining all these conditions also. All these conditions are skipped. For suppose if this condition is failed, then you will go to this condition. So that's why our code is correct. And this is the specialty of the if-elif-else statement. So this is about the program to find grade of a student, guys. In this video, we are going to write a Python program on calculator. We all know about calculator. So that is a device which is used to do some arithmetic calculations, right? Now in this video, we are going to write a program for the calculator. It's a very simple and basic calculator program. What are the arithmetic operators that we can perform through the calculator? We can perform addition and then subtraction and then multiplication and then division, right? So let us say, since we are going to write the code in Python, let's perform all these operations in our code. These are the arithmetic operators which are available in Python. They are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and then floor division to get the precise value, and the modulus and the exponentation. So these two operators are not available in calculator, but let's include them also. I want to design my program. Like at first I will ask the user to enter n1 and then n2 and then also the operator. And then n1 operator n2 will be done. Right? If the operator is plus, then n1 plus n2 will be done in this way. If n1 and n2 are two numbers, if the user chooses plus, then n1 plus n2 should be printed. If user chooses minus, then n1 minus n2, the result will be printed. If user chooses multiplication, n1 into n2, if the user chooses the floor division, then n1 divided by n2. And if the user chooses modulus, the remainder will be printed. If the user chooses the exponentation operator, then n1 power n2 will be printed. So this is how I want to design my calculator program. So let's quickly code it. So let me keep a comment. Calculator program. So what are my inputs? My inputs are n1, n2 and operator, right? Okay, let's take that. n1 equal to int of input of enter number 1, right? Control C and n2 equal to enter number 2, right? And later we will take an operator. Operator is equal to. So we will take int of input of, right? So if we do follow this int of input of, then it will be a blended mistake, guys, because the operator is not an integer format. The operators are like plus, minus, and the multiplication, right? They are not integers. They are operators. Now the question was, how do we need to take an operator? So we can take operators in string format. So we will do input of enter operator. So let's give a disclaimer like, so the user can enter only plus and then minus and into and then the floor division and then the modulus and the exponentation operator. So this is a disclaimer that we want to give to the user. Now the input part was completed. Now coming to the logic. So here we need to use an if-elif-else statement because we have more than two conditions. That's why we'll use an if-elif-else statement. So let's take if. Now, what do we need to check? We need to check if the user chooses plus. Means we need to check if the operator is equal to, we need to use a double quote, and within that double quotes we need to include plus, because we are taking the input in the string format. So that's why we have used double quotes, right? If the operator is equal to plus, then result equal to n1 plus n2. I computed n1 plus n2 and stored in the result variable. Okay. Elif, the second condition was minus, right? Elif operator is equal to minus within the double quotes, then the result will be n1 minus n2. And we will do the same. Control V, then Control V, and then Control V. So if the operation is a multiplication, then we will compute n1 into n2 and store it in result. And if the operator is the floor division, we will do n1 floor division 2. And if the operator is modulus operator, where it is, yeah. modulus operator. Then we will do n1 mod n2. And if the operator is an exponentiation, we will do n1 power n2. Right? If all these conditions are failed, let us store result is equal to wrong input, right? If the user didn't enter any one of these operators, then let's give the message like result equal to wrong input. Finally, we need to print the output. Result is equal to comma result, right? Okay, let's run this code now. Okay, I will enter number 50 and then 20. Number 2 is 20 and I will click on enter. I will give operation addition, that was plus. So if you see the result equal to 70. Okay, working fine. I will give 40 and 45 and my operation was minus. So if you see the result is minus 5. Okay, nice. I will give 26 and 90 and I will use operator into. So the result was 2340. So 26 into 90, that was 2340. Okay, let me cancel this and let me run this again. So I will give 900 and then 30. So I will choose floor division. So result equal to 30, right? Okay. Okay, let me run this again. So this time I will choose 50 and then 3. I will give modulus operation. So if you do 50 divided by 3, then you will get the remainder as 2. So that's why you got result equal to 2. Okay, let me run this program again. This time I will give 6 and number 2 is 3. And I will enter the operator exponentiation. So 6 power 3, that was 216. Right. Now let me run this program again. I will give 5 as number 1 and 6 as number 2. So I will enter an AND operator. So let's see what will happen. So the result equal to wrong input. All these conditions are failed and an else block will be executed. So the result is equal to wrong input. In this way, the calculator program will work. It is a very simple calculator program. In this video, we are going to discuss about a program to find roots of a quadratic equation. So how to find out the roots of a quadratic equation? Let ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 be a quadratic equation where a, b, c are coefficients. The discriminant d is given by b square minus 4ac. If d less than 0, nothing but discriminant less than 0, then no real roots exist for this equation. If d equal to 0, then a single real root exists given by minus b by 2a. So this is the root of the quadratic equation. If d is greater than 0, means d is positive, then two real roots exist which are given by minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a and minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So these are the formulas that we were taught in our schooling, right? Okay, let's understand this concept with some examples. So the equation was x square plus 2x plus 5, right? So what are the coefficients of this equation? They are a equal to 1 and b equal to 2 and c equal to 5, right? How we can write x square? We can write 1 into x square, right? So 1 is a quotient of x square and 2 is a quotient and 5 is a quotient. So these are the quotients. We need to find out discriminant, which is equal to b square minus 4ac, right? So we will do 2 square, nothing but 4 minus 4 into ac, 1 into 5, right? Which is equal to 4 minus 28, which is equal to minus 16, right? So my d was less than 0. So if d is less than 0, there is no real roots exist, right? So there is no roots for this equation. No real roots. Okay. And now consider this example. So what is my a? My a was 3 and my b was minus 6. Because my equation is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c, right? So my b was minus 6 and c was 3. And now we need to find out the discriminant, which is b square minus 4ac. So what is 6 square? That was 36 minus 4ac. 4 into 3 into 3, which is equal to 36 minus 4 3s are 12, 12 3s are 36, right? So which is equal to 0. So my discriminant was 0, right? D equal to 0. If d equal to 0, then there is a single root exists, right? Which is minus b by 2a, right? So my root was minus b, nothing but 6 by 2a. 2 into 3, which is 6. 6 by 6 equal to 1. So the root was 1. So this equation has a single root, that was 1. Now coming to this equation. So a equal to 2 and b equal to minus 5 and c equal to 2, right? So let's compute discriminant, which is b square minus 4ac. So b square means 5 square, which is 25, minus 4ac. 4 into 2 into c was 2, which is equal to 25 minus 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. So 25 minus 16 is equal to 9, right? So my d was greater than 0. What if my d was greater than 0? It has two real roots exist, which are minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, and also minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. And one more thing, we can also replace this b square minus 4ac with d, right? Nothing but discriminant. So the formula is minus b plus square root of d by 2a. And the second formula was minus b minus square root of d by 2a, right? So we can compute the roots in this way also. Okay. Now let's find out them. So root 1 is equal to minus b, nothing but 5, plus square root of d. So what is my d? That was 9. Square root of 9 was 3, right? Whole by 2a, right? By, so 2 into 2, which is 4, right? 8 by 4 equal to 2, right? And root 2 is equal to minus b, nothing but 5, minus square root of 9, that was 3, by 2a. 2 into 2, which is 4. So 2 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 2. So these are the roots of this quadratic equation, 2x square minus 5x plus 2. Now we need to write a program to print the roots of a quadratic equation. So before diving into the coding part, let's figure out the logic in simple words. At first, we need to take the input. So what are my inputs? So I can't take the input from the user like ax square plus bx plus c, right? So for the simplicity, let's take the quotient from the user, which are a, b, and c, right? And coming to the logic part, if you observe here, we have three conditions. And what I said before, if we have more than two conditions, then we need to use an if-elif-else statement, right? And we will check if d is negative, then we will print no real roots exist. And if d equal to 0, then we will print the single real root, that was minus b by 2a. And if d is positive, nothing but d is greater than 0, then we'll print two real roots, right? So now let's write the code for it. Let me keep a comment first. Program to find roots of a quadratic equation. Now, what are my inputs? They are coefficients, right? A equal to int of input of enter coefficient 1, right? And b equal to int of input of enter coefficient 2. And c equal to int of input of enter coefficient 3, right? Now what we need to find out? At first, we need to find out the discriminant, right? So d equal to b square minus 4ac. So b power 2 minus 4 into a into c. This is the formula. Now we need to use an if-elif-else statement. If we will check if d is less than 0, then we will print no real roots exist. Right? Elif d equal to 0, then my root will be minus b by 2a, right? I'll keep minus b by 2 into a, right? So I will print root equal to root. Now, if all these conditions are failed, then obviously d is greater than 0, right? So instead of keeping a condition, I will use else statement, and then my root 1 will be minus b plus square root of d, right? So how we can find out square root in Python? We will use exponentation symbol and we'll keep 0.5, right? And we will keep whole by 2a. Simple. And similarly, the root 2. Root 2 equal to minus b minus square root of d by 2a, right? Now we need to print them. Print root 1 is equal to root 1 and root 2 equal to root 2, right? So this is the code, guys. Now let's run the program. So I will give these inputs. So in the first equation, my a was 1, b equal to 2 and c equal to 5, right? So I will enter them 1, 2 and 5. So no real roots exist, right? Okay. Now let me run this program again. Now this time I will use this equation. 3 minus 6, 3, right? 3 minus 6 and 3. So if you see, the root was 1, right? So that is what we got, right? And now let me run this program again. So this time I'll give 2 minus 5, 2. 2 minus 5 and then 2. So if you see, the root 1 was 2.0 and root 2 was 0.5, right? That is what we got. If you do 1 by 2, then we'll get 0.5, right? In this way, we will write a program to find roots of a quadratic equation, guys. Hey folks, if you enjoyed this coding tutorial and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow coding buddies, drop a comment with your thoughts or questions, and of course, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Your support means a lot and it helps our community grow. Happy coding!